Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Well, I have finally got an afternoon on one of my days off that I don't have anything to do. It is about 40 degrees outside and I am on my way over to check out the piece of property that I've just recently got permission to be on. So I'll get back with you as soon as I get there and get in the woods, and we'll go from there and see what it looks like. Talk to you in a bit. Well, I made it over here. Took me about 15 minutes to get here, so it's pretty close to the house. I've been out here with the property owner. I've walked two sides of the property, and in places it's pretty woolly. Got all kinds of, let me get the camera flipped around here, hang on a second. There we go. Got all kinds of deadfall and trees down and everything. The road coming in is actually in good shape back to the old trailer that's back here, but it narrows down to a point where truck won't be able to come any farther. You'll have to come on foot. Going around to the other side and going to piece of barbed wire that fell. Go down to the bottom toward the creek and see what that looks like. But I'm actually standing on the property line. I don't know if you can see that little speck of blue over there, but that's the back of their house, just to the left of that. So, like I said, it's only about 13 acres, but definitely going to work for what I want it for. Shouldn't have to worry about anybody coming in and tearing up anything that I build. Let me flip this camera back. There we go. But we'll see how well it works. I should be able to build something pretty good, especially down here in this bottom. There's the property owner coming up behind me. Hope he ain't got a thing against being on camera. But I'll get around here, we'll get down this other side and things work out right. Get down there, build me a small fire, fix me some coffee, and take it easy for just a little bit before calling it a day and heading back to the house. I'll get back with you in a little bit. Well, I've come around the other side and back down. Up there was where I was at just a few minutes ago. Just probably about 15-20 minutes ago. I've come all the way back around. He's got a little creek down here. This, I don't know if you can tell, but it's pretty steep. Nowhere near as steep as that side over there. I get down here at the bottom, I'll shoot back up and let you see it. It's flat down here in the bottom. He said it's actually on the neighbor's property. I may try to get a hold of that guy and see if I can come down here and use this flat down here by the creek. I've actually crossed over the property line a little in order to get to where I'm going. Here's where I was trying to get this creek from about right here back up the hill is all on him. There's that hill. When I started that other video, I was standing right up there at the top of this one. So, yeah, it's pretty steep on that side. He made it sound like it was more of a cliff than anything. Let me flop this camera around. There we go. He made it sound like it was more of a cliff. It's pretty steep. Coming down it wouldn't be terribly awful, but you sure wouldn't want to go back up it. See if I can ease along through here without falling and breaking my neck. There we go. Oh, almost went down. Down in here wouldn't be too bad a spot. Got a little bit of a slant down low to it, but not much. Oh, fat man out of shape. Spent too much time sitting on the couch. But then here behind me, there's actually a hill or a path coming down that hill, but you could actually come up and down it on a four-wheeler. Too bad I ain't got one. I'm gonna ease up through this cut. Let me flop this camera around here so you can see. There we go. Back toward the other side of the property. It actually looks like up on that other end of this cut, it may flatten out some, looking at it from the other end. But we'll see. Get up in here. If I find a good spot, I'm gonna make me a little fire, heat me up some water, make me some coffee, and just sit back and take it easy for a few minutes. I had to shed my jacket, I was getting hot. We'll see. There we go. That's a pretty deep little cut. It's probably 4 to 5 foot deep up through there. This ain't a bad little spot right in here. You can tell by looking at it that at one point maybe the creek run up on this side and now it's cut over that way. Looking at it up through there, looks like it used to come this way and it's rerouted itself, which happens. But like I said, there's all kinds of deadfall on this property. Trying to not fall down and break my neck. Yeah, it looks like at one point creek used to run down that way. And then it's built up and went back the other. Oh, yeah. It ain't straight up, but it's probably somewhere around 70-degree angle straight up from there. And the same thing on this side. This side seems to be a little clearer than the other. He said back about 15, 20 years ago, all of this was logged. The property over behind this one is actually being logged now. Oh. This video is probably going to have a lot of breaks and fades from one to the other. Every time I go to switch the camera around, I've got to stop recording and then switch it and start back again. I've seen all kinds of deer tracks and deer trails and game trails. He said they see quite a few bobcats back in here, so that'll be interesting. Once I get back in here and figure out where I'm going to build me a little shelter. Once I get that done, I may put a trail camera up there at the shelter just to see what all I catch on it. It'll be interesting. I see a good flat spot up here. We may try to go and hit it and build a fire there. Let me get back across this little stream. If I can do it without falling in. This is the perfect time to come and do this because there's no leaves on. It makes it easier to see everything. I've seen a couple of little holes in this creek that are around 2 foot deep, 1.5 to 2 foot deep. I wouldn't want to drink the water out of it without boiling it first, or without a good water filter, but I'd say as long as we don't go months without rain, all these little holes will keep water in them. But it is Kentucky. It's very, very possible to go 3 or 4 months in the summer without any rain to mount anything. I don't think I'd want to build any kind of shelter down in this gully. There's a lot of flood wash. You can tell the water really kicks when it comes through here, and it's like that all around. So probably wouldn't be a good idea to build any kind of shelter on any of these little flats down here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop right here and build me a little fire and have me a cup of coffee, sit here at the base of this tree and just listen and enjoy for a while. We did jump up a deer coming in earlier, so I don't know where it's at. Never know. Might be here and get to see it. Now that's something that's interesting. Let me stop this and flip this. Right up there. Got a tree that's uprooted. If that's not holding water on the other side, that might not be a bad place. Looks like a little flat spot up there. Let me ease up there and see what that looks like. If I can get up there on that, that'll be a better spot to build a little fire, be able to see better up there. Let's see if I can climb this steep bank without breaking my neck. Well, after I got up there, I decided I was going to come back down here closer to the creek. That flat spot up there wasn't real big. So I figured I'd come down here and break out the twig stove and fire it up. We'll see what all we can do with that. I try to keep up with all my stuff so I don't lose any of it by laying it down. Sometimes it's easier said than done. Oh. Turn it that way. Oh, I will need these. There we go. Let me add a little spot here. bottom of this thing does get hot. I don't want to set grass or anything like that on fire, so clean that little spot here. There we go. Yeah, that'll work. I'm gonna go get a bunch of stuff together. So I can get this started. So bear with me just a minute and I'll be right back. Some of this, the bark's a little damp on it. I found with this twig stove, cut them off just a little longer than hand width seems to work a little bit better. It's really dry. That'll work good. And then what I'm going to do, once I get all these cut off, I'm going to split them as well. Bad knees, it sucks. Split. That's wet, don't want to use that. It sucks getting old. Oop, dropped my inhaler. I'm gonna cheat today, since some of this is kind of marginal. I'm gonna put me a toluene tablet in there. Get me a couple of those cotton balls going. And push him back over against that toluene. Get that going as well. That minute. While I'm doing that, split some of these rounds down. These are good and dry on the inside. Woo! Feel the heat coming out of there. Split these down. Property owner had to go to the grocery store. So he showed me where the property lines were and left me to my own accord. That should be enough split down. The rest of this should be all right. Just feed in. Pitch that up there. Get the water bottle out. Oh. losing all kinds of stuff. Definitely a no-no. Don't want to lose all this stuff. There's my lid. Oh, get some more in here. There. It's sitting on there. And I cheat on my coffee. The little Folgers singles made like a tea bag. I found those are the easiest things in the world when it comes to making coffee out like this. I'll give it this, it's peaceful out here. We'll sit here for a little while and take it easy, enjoy a cup of coffee. Then I'll move on that way up this drainage and see what we've got up at that end. Looking up through there, it looks like it may be a pretty decent flat spot up there, but that's one thing. Looking through like this, looks can be deceiving. It's like that first spot I went to up on top of the hill here behind us. I thought it was a good flat spot, and then when I got up there, it was a flat spot all right. Might have been about 5 foot in diameter, and that was it. So I ended up back down here. Wife and little boy didn't want to come with me today. They didn't know what we would be getting into, so I'm kind of using this as a scouting mission to figure out the spots to take them. Wife likes to hike in this kind of terrain and will go anywhere I go. The little boy gets tired pretty quick when you start going over rough terrain, so I don't know that he would have enjoyed this. But we'll see. There's a lot of heat kicking out of here, so it shouldn't take this thing long to get hot and boil. I've already got bubbles forming on the bottom. Let's get my glove out of my pocket. I gotta get me another set of gloves. I wanted a set of the mechanics with leather palms, and the only ones I could find were padded palms. They work good when you're building, but they don't work worth a dime doing stuff like this. I'll go ahead and stick this in there. I don't know, probably can't see it, but I already got steam coming off of it. It ain't been on there that long. Now, I won't be surprised if my tag catches on fire. Yeah, it's already smoking. So it'll be on fire before long. Oh well. Keep that around there. Cover this back up. That running water is nice. It's supposed to get up today to about 50, 51, I think. And I do believe it's got there because I'm sitting here in a t-shirt and I'm comfortable. I got hot hiking, had to take my wool coat off. Come back here. Gotta watch it string. Burn my string off, I won't be able to get my coffee pot out. These little twig stoves are great for this kind of stuff. I wish my wife and little boy had been here with me, though. They would have enjoyed the peace and quiet. The only thing I hear, aside from the creek running right here, is there's a crow back up that way somewhere carrying on. Oh, I brought my big tomahawk and my big saw with me. I didn't know what I would need. It turned out, though, I didn't need either one of them. The little Gerber saw and my Gibson axe was all I needed. There's all kinds of building materials. Looking around through here. All kinds of trees and stuff about wrist size or just a little bit bigger. That would be great for building a shelter out of. This also counts as one of my outings that I have to do for my bush class. Still struggling trying to figure out a metal cooking implement. One of the things is I have to make a cooking implement out of metal. There's 32 pages on the forum of student practice and things that students have made. And everything that I've seen has been either alcohol stove, twig stoves out of soup cans. Twig stoves, there's been 3 or 4 that people have made like this, where they've cut them out of sheet metal and made them. And then a lot of people just taking a tin can and putting a bale on the top of it out of wire or something and using that. And I want to go with something different. I don't want to do the same thing everybody else is doing. So I'm struggling trying to think of something that nobody else has done that I can do. So if anybody's got any ideas other than those few things, let me know. Oh, we got a full rolling bowl. That's good. Take it off, set that right there for a minute. Let it cool down for a few minutes. Daggone it if I didn't lose it anyways. Oh well. Not too hot. I'll lay that right there. Where? Aha. Old Gerber multi-tool that my father gave me. To give you an idea of how old this one is, there's no spring in it. It was before they started making them spring loaded. He gave me that, let's see, he gave me that right after I started at Danville PD, and that was in 2000. So I've had it probably 18, 19 years. I hadn't been there long when he gave it to me. Handles are cooled down good. I'll let that thing burn out. If y'all are wondering what I did to my hand, I was carving the other night. Carving on a piece of cedar. It had a ragged end on one end, and I was trying to do a stock cut and then carve back to it and take that piece off the end of it. I hit a soft spot and it split way down the side, and when it did, knife come down and come right straight across that knuckle. Ended up having to go to the hospital and get 3 stitches. And then I accidentally pulled one of them out, and it got infected around where that was at. So I ended up having to take the stitch out of that, and me and the wife boiled it out last night and dug all the infection out of it. Then I steri-stripped it and pulled it back together and put a piece of tape over it and leave it like that. The stitch is supposed to come out Monday, so I guess Monday before I go to work I'll let her take my stitches out. Before I turn my bottom lip black. I don't have a hanky with me. I was going to wipe some of the soot off the side. Oh yeah, it's hot. Well, I think I'm going to turn the camera off and just sit here and enjoy the quiet for a little bit. Let that thing burn out. I'm here close to the creek, so once that burns out, I'll dump that in the creek, all the ash and stuff. That's a good thing about that. Once it burns out, it cools down quick. I'd say within 5-10 minutes at the most, once the fire goes out in it and it burns out, it's cool enough you can take it apart and put it back in the pouch. Well, I'm going to get back to y'all here in just a little bit. I'm going to sit here and enjoy the peace and quiet. Maybe eat a granola bar. Well, I finished up my coffee. Getting ready to move out on up here and head back toward this other side and back toward the truck. I got my mess cleaned up. Only thing left, just the sticks I didn't use. I'm gonna leave them right there. Who knows, I may end up back here again and use them then. We're gonna ease up through here and see what the rest of this looks like. And then meander back toward the truck. Oh, this here in front of me looks like it could get a little interesting. Trying to figure out which way would be the best way to go. Almost looks like I need to cross the creek right here. Then I'll go a little piece and cross back over to the other side. Looks like what the easiest way is going to be. Oh. No, I didn't see that till I changed directions. I can go down here and go right up through here. Yeah, 13 acres ain't very big. You can cover it pretty quick. But the good thing about it is I've been here all this time. I got here about 10 minutes after 12 and it's 20 minutes after 2 and I think I've heard 2 cars and that's it. So that's a good thing. It'd be fun to bring my dog over here. That looks kind of flat right up there. Let's kind of ease up and around that way and see what it looks like. My dog Lexi would go absolutely crazy down here. But the thing with it, knowing her, it's hard telling how many deer antlers she'd find. She goes absolutely crazy over a deer antler. I don't know if you can see it. Right up there. Barely can see the old trailer that used to be back here. And I went past it earlier. Looks like they had peeled all of the siding off of it for scrap. Inside of it was pretty rough. Property owner said that about 15 years ago, right before they bought this property, there used to be an old man that lived in that trailer. Said he actually died in it and is buried in the front yard there next to the trailer. They said he'd been dead about a year when they bought this property in 2005. So, that's interesting. Oh. I got cut off earlier when you're going up a piece of property that's pretty steep. Instead of trying to go straight up it, it's a whole lot easier to zigzag back and forth and go up it at angles. And do it that way. instead of trying to go straight up the hill. Oh, good Lord, look at the rock. I'm right here below their house. Let me get the camera flipped around. Hold on a second. There we go. If you look right up, there's the edge of their house. But look at all the rock right up in there. That's where we're headed to. If I don't get my feet hung up in a rose bush and fall down. There's my third car. Look at all of these. Full of them. Don't know where they come from. You look up that way, see that clear patch off in the distance? The road is just this side of that goes back. There's the old trailer. I see all kinds of places to hammock camp. This place right here in front of me, right over there in that shaded spot, looks like about the flattest spot down in this drainage that I've seen. But this is also the end that's back up closest to the road. The road is just right up there. Gonna flip you. So I'm gonna walk over and check this one spot out. Then I'm gonna head on up here to the drive going back in and head back to the truck and get back to the house. Promised the wife that I would help her do laundry when I got home. Oh, go around here and fall down and not get back home. That wouldn't be good. Oh, well, that flat spot I pointed out ain't as flat as I thought it was. But like I said, plenty of places to hammock camp. Once I get over here and cover some more of this ground and get a little more familiar with it, I may actually find a flat spot big enough to put up a 2 or 3 man tent that I can eventually build a shelter on. I've seen several places that I could build a 1 man shelter. But for a 1 person shelter, you don't need near the space of what you would need if you were going to build one for big enough to fit like me and my little boy and 1 or 2 dogs and my wife. something that fit the 3 of us and the 2 dogs. It'd have to be quite a bit bigger. I'm guessing something 8 foot by 8 foot square would have to suffice for the 3 of us and the 2 dogs. Up around the old trailer, there's some flat spots back across through there up on top of the ridge that we could probably set up a tent. Right now I don't want to build a shelter up there because that's the same access that they're using to get the logging equipment in and out. Now, once everything leaves back out, it'll be a different story. I may build something up there because then it'll be hidden. But right now, with all the leaves gone, anything I put up there, you're going to see it from a mile away. Look as clear as everything is. Oh. Well, I'm going to turn you off and ease on up here to the road and head back to the truck. Y'all have a good day. Hope you found this interesting and enjoyed it, at least as much as I did being out here. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll get another one up for you soon. See y'all.